You know, in the world of tennis, some finals stick with you because of the perfect shots, others for the sheer power on display. But the 2026 Australian Open Women's Final, that one was different. This was a story about fire and ice, a clash of personalities, and a comeback that honestly, almost nobody saw coming. So, let's break it down.
An eye in the storm. Think about that. In a packed stadium with thousands of people screaming, facing down the most dominant player in the world, one woman managed to find a place of complete calm. And that stillness? Well, it turned out to be her most powerful weapon.
Right from the start, this wasn't just a tennis match. It was a fascinating study in contrasts, a final that was really defined by its opposites, in how the players acted, how they played, and even in the sounds filling the whole arena.
Okay, so just picture this for a second. The roof on Rod Laver Arena is closed. The crowd is a wall of sound. And then, cutting through it all, there's this one tiny, persistent sound. A chirping bird. Just this strange, quiet little note playing underneath all the drama and tension of a Grand Slam final.
So on one side of the net, you've got Aryna Sabalenka. They call her the Tiger. She's all fire and fury, decked out in bright orange and pink, wearing every single emotion for the world to see. That's brand Aryna. And on the other side, Elena Rybakina, the quiet underdog in simple, functional off-white. Calm, composed, just letting her tennis do all the talking.
And the stakes were huge. For Sabalenka, the world number one, this was her chance to lock in her legacy as a two-time defending champ. But for Rybakina, this was all about redemption. It was a shot to get revenge for losing to Sabalenka in this very same final just 3 years before. A whole lot of history on the line for both of them.
The stage was absolutely set for an epic, and for the first two sets, that is exactly what we got. It was just a brutal back-and-forth arm wrestle that was pushing both players to their absolute limits.
And it was Rybakina who landed the first punch, stunning everyone by taking that first set. Get this, it was the only set Sabalenka had lost the entire year. But, you know, a champion is a champion for a reason. Sabalenka came roaring right back in the second, pounced on one critical mistake from Rybakina, and leveled the match. It was all coming down to a final set.
So heading into that decider, all the momentum felt like it was with Sabalenka. I mean, this is a player who is famous for her resilience, for her absolute refusal to give up. With her history of clawing her way back from the edge, pretty much everyone thought the match was hers to lose at that point.
And then, we hit the breaking point. The moment where it really truly looked like Rybakina's dream was about to just completely fall apart.
3 games to love. Down in the final set of a Grand Slam against the best player in the world. I mean, for almost any other player on the planet, that is a death sentence. The match, for all intents and purposes, looked over.
You could feel it in this one grueling 16-shot rally. They were just trading these massive blows from the baseline, a complete war of attrition. But at the end of it, Rybakina was the one who buckled. It really felt like Sabalenka was just imposing her will, and Rybakina was about to break.
One journalist described her perfectly in that moment. He called her a forlorn woman looking like she wanted to be somewhere else. And that was it. The quiet resolve seemed to be gone, replaced by just despair. It was so quiet, even that bird in the rafters stopped chirping.
But right there, in that moment that looked like total despair, something truly incredible happened. Rybakina found her center. She became the calm at the very heart of the storm.
And it wasn't some sudden explosion of energy. No, it was this slow, patient, methodical dismantling of Sabalenka's game. First, she holds serve just to stop the bleeding. Then, she finds a way to get a crucial break and get back on even terms. She withstands this furious counterattack from the champ, and then, incredibly, she earns the right to serve for the whole thing.
She just completely flipped the script, winning 6 of the last 7 games of the match. And as you saw Sabalenka's frustration start to build, Rybakina's focus just got sharper and sharper. She unleashed her biggest weapon, that thunderous first serve, at all the right moments. She just refused to be beaten.
So you might be wondering, what on earth was going through her head? Well, she kinda told us herself. She said that on the outside, yeah, she might have looked defeated, but inside, she always believed. Every big win you have just builds up this reserve of confidence you can draw on when things look impossible.
And so, that brings us to the final moments. The end of this unbelievable comeback. A victory that was just as unique as the woman who pulled it off.
Championship point. Another massive, unreturnable serve. And just like that, after 2 hours of the most brutal, high-stakes tennis you'll ever see, Elena Rybakina was the Australian Open champion. Redemption was finally hers.
Now, we've all seen this 1,000 times, right? The moment the final point is won, the champion just collapses to the court, totally overcome with emotion. The tears, the screams. But that is not how this story ends.
Nope, not this time. All we got was a single, briefly clenched fist. A quick nod to her team. That was it. The most dramatic win imaginable, celebrated with the most quiet, understated gesture you'll ever see. It was pure Rybakina.
And for Sabalenka, look, the loss was a huge disappointment, for sure. But the way she handled it really said a lot about how much she's grown as a competitor.
She was so gracious, gave Rybakina all the credit, but then she showed that trademark Sabalenka humor. Her reaction was this perfect mix of honesty and wit, and it really just showed her maturity.
So it all kind of leaves you with this one big question. In a world that is always celebrating the loudest person in the room, maybe Rybakina's quiet victory is a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest strength isn't the roar of the tiger, but the stillness at the center of the storm.